Hello, in this presentation we will enter two receive payment amounts into QuickBooks Online. We will have a comprehensive QuickBooks Online course soon, if not available yet. We also have a comprehensive Excel course which complements the QuickBooks courses and a QuickBooks Pro desktop version course you can find at the link below. Here we are with QuickBooks Online dashboard. We will be continuing with the Get Great Guitars problem. We will be entering two customer receipts. When considering the customer receipts, we want to make sure we know where we are at, and that is that we issued an invoice in the past. Now we're receiving payment on that invoice. The invoice basically saying, hey, we did work, in our case, gave a guitar, delivered the guitar, and we expect payment in the mail. We are now receiving the payment, and we need to record that receipt of payment. To do that, we're going to go to this plus icon up top. This has most of the quick forms that we will be needing in order to enter data. We have the customers, the vendors, and the employee sections. We will be under the customer section, and we want to go down to the receive payment amount here, or receive payment item here, and we'll select that item. And we're going to go through here and enter the simple data through here. Make sure that we want to focus in on what's actually happening in terms of the financial statements as we do this. The receive payment means we've got some kind of payment, cash, check, credit card. That means we got money. Typically, we would think of the checking account going up. However, we're going to put it into another account, in this case, an uncategorized account, that we will then deposit into the checking account as we group them together. And the other side is going to be decreasing the accounts receivable for the customer who has now paid us, who now no longer owes us, and therefore the account representing them owing us money, accounts receivable, is going down. So we're going to get money. We got money from Jones Guitars, and that's what we're going to be issuing or recording here. We're going to select the drop down to find Jones Guitars, and then we could also type it in, and it will autofill and select Jones Guitars. And then we can tab through this information. We're going to have the date here. The date's going to be 01/12/21, so January 12th, 2021. The payment method could be cash, check, Visa, or a credit card. We will select the payment method of cash. We're not going to have a reference number, and instead of going to the checking account, which we could have it go directly to the checking account here, we're going to put it into the uncategorized asset. And then once we go to the bank, we will then group all of our deposits together and put them into the bank at the same time. We then have the amount received over here. We could populate that directly here, or we could go down to the invoices and select the invoice we received payment on, and it will then auto-populate the amount up here. So if we received payment for this invoice of $7,500, then we can just select this item. It will auto-populate the amount that we received. It will then populate it here as well, saying that we have received full payment on this invoice. If, however, we received something less than full payment, we can put something less than full payment here, select this invoice, and then we'll still have a payment remaining due on this invoice. So that's going to be it here. Let's remember what happens when we record this. We had an invoice in the past that put information or an accounts receivable representing the customer owing us money and sales. We now got the money, meaning cash went up, but not in the checking account yet. Therefore, we put it into undeposited funds so we can group them at the end of the day and then deposit at one time. And the other side is going to reduce the accounts receivable for Jones Guitars in specific. We're going to save this and go to a new one, enter another one, and then we'll go to the reports and see what happens to the reports. So save and new, green icon down right hand side. We'll do this one a bit quicker this time. We're going to say the customer. We can say the drop down for the receive payment. Type the customer in there to autofill. We're going to say it's Smith Guitars, so we will select Smith Guitars. Tabbing through this, we see we have the date, January 12th, 2021. We are going to have the payment method, which this time will select a check. It's going to go into the uncategorized fund again, rather than going directly into the checking account. We have the amount, but once again, we're going to select the invoice down here. We have an invoice outstanding for this particular client, Note that we had to put that client in order for it to then generate this invoice that we had entered in the past for that client. If we then select that invoice, then it'll give us the 8,000 here, put that amount in the received payment. Once we save this, then it's going to increase cash, but not the checking account, in uncategorized assets, which we will then deposit, hopefully at the end of the day, put it all together, deposit it at the same time in the same amount, which will then be on the bank statement, allowing us to reconcile our cash account to the bank statement. So we're going to save this, and then we'll go to the reports and see what happened. So we're going to say save and new, and then I'm going to close this out with the X up top. Let's go to the reports. Reports are on the left-hand side, so we're going to select the reports. We're going to look at our normal reports we always look at, which will be the balance sheet, the financial statements, more specifically being the financial statements. And the dates then up top, we're going to say are 01/01/212, 01/31/21, January 1st, 2021 to January 31st, 2021. Let's go ahead and run that report. So here we have the report ran, and we're going to scroll down and remember that we put the money, we got money, but we didn't put it in the checking account because we haven't gone to the bank yet. We will do that shortly. What we did do is put it into this uncategorized assets. We have that much, 20,500 there. We should really go to the bank soon. That represents money that we have just in our store right now that we haven't yet deposited into the bank. We're going to select that item, and then we see the items here. So we had Anderson, that we did that last time. We've got the 8,000 for Smith and Jones 7.5. If we select either one of these, that will then take us to the receive payment form that we just input. So we will close this back out. Take a look at the other side of the transaction, scrolling back up, going to the back to report summary, and we will then find the other side, which was accounts receivable. Here's accounts receivable. If we select this item, it should be going down by the fact that we received payment. Accounts receivable representing the fact that people owe us money. Once they have paid us, they no longer owe us, and therefore it should be going down. So here we have the 8 and the 7.5. Selecting either of those, we see the received payment.